Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I am Nicole from Sewing Patterns, and I just got home from Washington State. I was out there teaching at Sew Expo in Puyallup, Washington, which is in between Seattle and Portland, and I thought that I would show you guys how the event went. I know that whenever I am interested in an event, I'm always a little bit anxious and apprehensive to shell out the money and book and go alone because I don't know what to expect. So this year was my second year, and I was a lot more on top of like taking videos and being cognizant of the fact that I wanted to put together this kind of like quick rundown of how the event goes. So I hope that you enjoy it. I took little snippets of the classrooms, of the classes that I taught, and then a random like vending and all of that. So yeah, enjoy. So a little bit of backstory. I was invited to teach at Sew Expo last year and went out, had a great time. I think I taught two classes, two or three, and I really enjoyed myself. The students were really fantastic. The coordination was really great. There weren't any like big hiccups for me in the event. And so when I left last year, I knew that I definitely wanted to go back this year. And so this year I taught 4 classes and everything went off without a hitch for me again. And I just had the best time. It's funny because after I left the event on Sunday, I was driving back to Olympia where I was staying, which is about 40 minutes to give you some context. I was driving back and I filmed my immediate feelings and reaction. And for whatever reason, it didn't film the volume. It's just me talking at the camera and you can't hear anything, which is such a bummer. But what I remember in that moment is just feeling so content, like so thankful. My cup was so full. I'd gotten to meet so many incredible participants. I got to hang out with the girls from Mormino and Jess from So Many Creations and the girls at Clum House. It's always just such a fun time whenever you get to hang out with your sewing besties. You know, we all live all over the United States, and so to have these opportunities where we can come together to not only hang out, but to teach and to share our passion and our craft with other people is just so heartwarming. Some other information about Sew Expo is it's been going on since 1984. So it's been the premier expo, the sewing event out in the Pacific Northwest since the 80s, which is mind-blowing. It seems like it was pretty centered around apparel and quilting. And then in the last few years, they're really starting to bring in bag making, which is a lot of fun. And it's just interesting because we vend up and down. When I say we, I'm talking about Lauren Mormino, Jess, So Many Creations, and all of the other East Coasters. We vend and teach up and down the East Coast fairly regularly, but to have the opportunity to go out west is fun and novel for us. Really fun to meet new people and to kind of go back to step one of bag making. A lot of the people... So every single class that I taught, all 4 classes, nobody had made any of my patterns, nor had they, the majority of them, nor had they worked with cork. And that to me was wild because cork is my entire world, you know, like that's all that I talk about. It's all that that's all that I work with. And it's what my business is like made up of. It's what it's culminated of. So to meet people that are brand new to it, it's exciting, and it like reignites that initial passion from 10 years ago whenever I first started working with cork. And so I teamed up with Jess from So Many Creations and we did an intro to cork class, and it went fantastic. We had I think it was 17 people, 17 participants, and we hosted like a little information session in the beginning. We gave out a handout, and then we just talked about cork, what we liked about it, where to get it, what we look for, tools, notions, all of that fun stuff. And then we both did one project. And for my project, we did the can cooler. And then for Jess's project, we did a key fob pouch. And the class went phenomenally. That's a tough one. Phenomenally. And we had a great time while doing it. Everybody completed both of their projects, and it seemed like everybody enjoyed it. So that was Jess and I's class. And then I also taught the Paradigm Crossbody, I taught the Deimos wallet, and then I also taught the mini Triskel wallet. And short of me unintentionally foiling 3 kits for the mini Triskel wallet, everything went off perfectly. But the miniature scale class was just going smooth as can be. And Lauren Mormino popped in to check in, see how things were going. She brought me some rivets because my rivets weren't working, yada yada, details. And she said, "Hey, how's it going?" And I was like, "Oh, we are doing great. I couldn't ask for anything better." And then slowly, as soon as I said that, it was like the universe said, "Watch this." And the first person's kit, I realized that I mislabeled the ends. So she had attached the interior bottom upside down, which was totally my fault. And so she was the first one, and we were like, okay, no big deal. We'll unpick and then restitch. She was a good sport about it. And then the person behind her, about 5 minutes later, I was like, oh my gosh, I did it to you too. I'm so sorry. You're going to have to unpick and flip this whole panel. And she was a great sport about it too. And then 5 minutes later, a third person, I discovered that I had done it a third time. So I started freaking out at that point internally. And Lauren came back in to bring me the rivets, and I said, I need your help. Please stay. So she stayed. She helped me salvage the class, get everybody back on track. And I felt like it was going to hell in a handbasket, but it sounds like at the end of class, everybody was like calm, cool, collected. I think I was the one that was just like internally freaking out. But the 3 people that I foiled were so gracious, and if they got mad, they didn't let me know about it at all, and they just unpicked their stitches and flipped the panel, and luckily that was it, and we were like back on track. It wasn't a problem. But those moments when you're teaching, when things start to go off the rails, it gets so panicky. I get so panicky when that happens. But luckily Lauren came in at the right time, and then the 3 people that it happened to were experienced seamstresses, so they just fixed it and moved on. So that was really great. And by the end of the class, we got everybody done. Everybody walked out with a completed project, and I couldn't have been happier. So if you sign up to go to an expo like this one, the way that it generally works is you sign up online Clementine is right here and she's demanding cuddles. You sign up online on their website, and then when the time comes, the classes open and you can register for those classes. And then the way that this particular expo works is we get the head count, and as teachers, we get the head count, and then we cut all the kits, and then we show up to class, and you guys pay us for the kits then and there, and you pay in cash normally. So the teachers are walking around with, we probably shouldn't say that. Anyways, teachers are broke. Don't worry about that. But what you get when you pay for the kit fee, I mean, obviously it changes. It varies by teacher to teacher and by class to class as to what you'll get in your kit. But I wanted to show you an example of what my kits include. So this is for the Deimos wallet. So I cut out all of the pieces, and all of the spots that needed to be marked are marked. So like any sort of hardware holes are already marked. Everything's cut out, and you get the cork pieces all cut and ready to go. And then you also get the hardware. So I included a double cap magnet snap for this one. And then I always do like a Cliff Notes version. I type out, a skeleton pattern is what I call these, just to give you something to look at and check out if you're moving faster, or say you get behind in class, you have something to reference if I'm over here talking to somebody else, and yada yada. And then of course my contact information. So that's the Deimos. The miniature scale kit comes with way more things. I mean, the pattern requires more notions anyways, but this kit was all inclusive of everything that you needed, and it made everything so easy. Now, in the past, when I've taught the miniature scale class, or a lot of times what I will do with my kits is I just cut the actual pattern piece itself. I don't do the card slot lines and the ID windows and things like that. But for this pattern, I did for these kits. So in these kits, I marked all the fold lines and all of the pertinent information that needed to be transferred from each pattern piece. I did that on all 3 of the pattern pieces. And then I got pre-made straps from Jomar Supply. I'll link them below. And this was a lifesaver, because in all of my classes, almost all of my classes, making the strap is a big time constraint. So it was really nice to be able to just get these straps cut, ready to go, and then you could just attach them to the hardware, add top stitching if you want to, all of that. My kits included the card slot fabric, And then I also got hardware kits from Mormino, and we did all black nickel, and also putting the pulls on before class I think was really helpful too. These are all these like minor details that add up to take up a bunch of time in a class, and having these complete kits when all you have to do is show up, I think just alleviates a lot of stress on the student and on me, because I know for certain that you have everything that you need. So in this kit, I even went down to the nitty gritty. I included the ID window backing, the internal pocket lining, all of the interfacing stabilizers, and then even the vinyl ID window. So whenever you join classes, keep an eye out for whatever is in the kit and what you need to bring, because a lot of them you do actually still need to supply some stuff. For example, my Paradigm crossbody bag, I included all of the cork and the strap and the hardware and the zippers and all of that, but I did not provide lining fabric. So that class required that my participants showed up with lining fabrics cut and interfaced. And I am proud that only 2 people didn't come with that. One, I'm not sure what happened, didn't get the email or something, just lost in translation. And then another gal, she had signed up that morning, so she didn't know that that was a prerequisite. But with all the vendors in the vendor hall, it was a quick fix, and we were able to get her squared away lickety split. So I think that's really it for like the informational side of things. I did pick one of the coordinator's brains a little bit, and she said that there were over 200 classes offered in 18 classrooms. And each of the classrooms is sponsored by a different sewing machine. So all of the machines are provided, and throughout the weekend, every time you take a class, there is a classroom teacher assistant that is in every single classroom that does needle changes, thread changes, bobbin winding. Any sort of machine issue that you have, there's a teacher assistant in that class that is an expert at those particular machines. And that is also so helpful as a teacher, because of course there are always issues with machines, especially when you're driving a different machine, when you're working on a machine that's not yours and you're in a new environment and it's loud and it's a new pattern. You know, these are all details that can make a sewing day go sideways very quickly. So it's nice that Sew Expo has... It's really nice that Sew Expo has thought of all of these things and considered how helpful this stuff would be to not only the participants, but to the teachers as well. At the beginning of each class, the teacher assistants do a little spiel, and they teach you how to use your machine. They give you kind of the rundown on the machine, how to use needle cutters, you know, all of the, not needle cutters, that would be weird, how to use thread cutters and knee lifts and yada yada, what have you. And they do, I mean, the whole weekend, it's kind of like a timeshare situation where if you sit through the, are you bored? No? If you sit through the timeshare presentation, then you get free tickets to Disney. It's kind of like that. You sit through the little 5-minute spiel that they give you about the machine, and then if you want to purchase the machine, you can do it there. And they have fantastic show specials. The classrooms that I taught in were the Juki room. So not the TL 2010Q. It was a higher grade, and the price on that was phenomenal, and it was free shipping, and they discounted it because it was show. And then if you bought the class machine, like the one that was actually used in the class, you got another $100 off. So you get smoking deals on machines the whole weekend as well. What do you think, Clem? I don't think there's a whole lot going on up here except bark, bark. So without further ado, here is the montage that I created of my Sew Expo weekend that started on Thursday and ended on Sunday. Stay tuned after the montage because I'm going to go over all the goodies that I brought home. have a rare appearance by Joppa. He's in here. What would you like, sir? He would like to be my way. Okay, so now on to the fun part of the video, the product haul. Now, I historically don't do a whole lot of shopping at these events because I have everything that I need in my studio, plus some. I have a surplus of supplies in here, and I do try to really live by the ethos of not purchasing just to have something. I try to be really just on top of my consumerism as much as possible. That being said, when you're in a vendor hall with hundreds of vendors, sometimes you just can't turn some stuff down. And then you have access to things that you don't have access to. And, you know, everybody's there with all of their fantastic products, and you're touching everything and you're looking at everything. You're seeing everything in person. Sometimes you just can't deny yourself. All right, starting off my loot haul. I have seen this company before online, but I'd never seen them in person, and they're a supply notion company. They also sold some cork and just some other random stuff. What I remember mostly was like zipper pulls, zippers, and other sort of hardware. And so I picked up these magnets. They're like the what do you call them? Hidden magnets. So I got some rectangles, and then I got some circles here, and they're from Fireweed Stitches. And the price was so nice. You get 2 sets for $4, which I think is just, I don't know. I mean, I've never purchased double or hidden magnets before, but it seemed like a good price to me. So I picked these up, so keep an eye out for these in something coming soon. And then in the miniature scale wallet class, whenever I was panicking and I needed new rivets, Lauren popped by the Clumhouse booth, and got me some matte black rivets. So you get 25 rivets. You get the cap and the post for $5. And these, I'm assuming, are the size small because there's an S written on the back, but I didn't actually shop for these myself, so I'm not entirely sure how they delineate these, but either way, 25 for $5 is a really great price. And the matte black is really nice and solid. It doesn't seem like they'll get scratched or anything like that. The whole entirety of the cap or of the post and cap and everything is matte black, not just the two ends, which I think is quite nice. So if you're in the market for matte black rivets, I will link these below. And then the last thing in my hardware that I picked up, so it's non-traditional. It won't be something that I will be using in the studio per se, but I got it from the Kai Scissors booth, and I don't need another pair of scissors, so I didn't get them. It was very enticing, and I was this close to buying a pair of scissors, but I did not. I abstained, but I did fall for this. Now this is, I'm not sure if they're exclusively sold through Kai, but they are Japanese knives. They come from Japan, and they're extremely sharp and super durable. And I cannot read it because everything's in Japanese, but yeah, got this from the Kai booth. I picked this up for our house because we cook 3 meals a day and we're constantly sharpening our knives, and we don't have a good paring knife. So I picked this up for Brandon and for me because I also like to cook. So it was super affordable. They had other larger knives as well, and they had cutting boards to go with it. So I will definitely find this and link this below for you too. I will give you an update on how much I love it once I start using it. I gave it to Brandon when I first got home, and then I said, I'm going to need that back though, because I have to show my friends what I got. I, for the life of me, cannot find this other thing that I purchased. I've looked everywhere. I just pulled out all my suitcases and looked again. I looked in my travel bag. I looked in the templates that I brought home. I can't find it. I know that I saw it when I was packing, but I wonder if I left it in Juno's room. I bunked in Juno's room when I was out in Washington, and so there's no telling where I left this little thing. But I got another ruler from Lauren, and I was very particular in shopping for those. Now, a good ruler is always a good thing to have on hand. You can never go wrong with them, but I find that I typically use the 14 by 5-inch ruler that she has. I love that one. And then I also have the big massive one. I think it's like 24 inches by 8. I love that one as well. But I picked up kind of an even smaller than the 5 by 14. It must be 8 by 4 or somewhere in that neighborhood. I would show you, but I can't find it. But Lauren's rulers, of course, you can never go wrong with those. So I picked up one of those as well. Hopefully it'll show its face soon. Now, at these expos, not everything is sewing related, like directly sewing related. And while this one did seem kind of out of left field, I was happy when I stumbled upon it because it was so good. So I picked up this tea. Now, I'm not a big tea drinker. I will drink tea when I'm sick. I'll drink iced tea. But other than that, I'm a coffee drinker. I drink water, and that's about, you know, short of like a vodka soda. Those are the two things that I'm drinking. But this tea, I am here to tell you, this tea is so freaking good. I got the lavender lemonade tea, and I was a little confused. So the person who was selling it was the best salesperson I've ever met. He was phenomenal. But they're not from Washington. It seems like this outfit is from Virginia, and then they send out people to sell the teas. But I don't really care what they're doing because whatever it is, they're doing it correctly. What I liked about it is it's pre-sweetened, but it's not super duper sweet. And I had it hot, but the guy who was selling it gave me the idea to freeze it like ice cubes and then to put that in water or in vodka to make a yummy drink. The flavor of this is so good, you guys. Oh my God, it's just perfect. It's going to be great for summertime. I can't wait to have a gallon of this in the fridge at all times. And the fact that you don't have to add sugar to make it sweet is even better. You could just steep it and then put it in the fridge. So it comes with 10 grams of added sugar. And so I got the bag that was less sugary because I don't eat a lot of sweets. I'm more of like an umami savory person. And the one that I had was the original sweetness, but this is for like diabetics and for people who have to really watch their sugar intake. So this has 10 grams of tea, 35 calories per bag. And it is, the only ingredients are lemon myrtle, lavender, hibiscus, and then honey. And then a little bit of cane sugar to sweeten it all up. And this stuff is so good. So this is true honey teas. They also had apple cinnamon that was divine. That would be so yummy. It felt warm. You know, when you drink something and you're just like, oh, I could just be by a fireplace at a ski lodge. It was the epitome of wintertime. And then they had another one, but I can't remember. It did not leave an impression, clearly. But this one though, I mean, geez, if you're a tea drinker, highly, highly suggest. And then now on to fabric. So Lauren came back to her booth. I didn't have a booth, so whenever I wasn't teaching, I was hanging out in Lauren's booth, or I was hanging out in So Many Creations booth, or the Emporium. They were all next door to each other, so we were just kind of bouncing around, hanging out, talking to each other. And Lauren went out on a little shopping extravaganza and came back, and she had this fabric, and I said, oh, I'm copying you. I'm going to pick that up right now. So this is from IC Fabrics. This is a polyester-free fabric store. I think a lot of their knit, and they're all knits, and I think a lot of them are organic. And I picked up, and Lauren did too, this knit swimwear fabric with these cute little strawberries. It's like a beige background with like coral, light red, and pink strawberries. And then this kit, so it's 1 yard of rib knit for swim, and then it also comes with 5 yards of swim elastic, which I'm really excited for because I have made several bathing suits in my sewing tenure, but I'm always confused about the elastic. I never know which one to get, and then I tend to use what I have on hand, which is not meant to be in chlorinated water. And yeah, so I picked this up. This was only $10. I couldn't believe it. So for a whole yard and then plus the elastic, I mean, you can't beat it. I haven't actually pulled it out and looked at it though. So it's like really silky. Can you see through it? Is it see-through? I can't tell. I can kind of see through it when I'm really pulling it and focusing. So hopefully it's not see-through on my bits, but I will give you an update. I'm trying to figure out what kind of bathing suit I want to make out of it. Maybe like a cute one piece. And then of course I thought about making one for Juno and Joelle because every time I make anything, I'm like, oh, I better make something for the babies. But I don't know. It's just so darling. I love it so much. And yes, so IC Fabrics, poly-free, and she had so many options to choose from. But as you can see, I have, well, let's see, this is all knit here, and this is all knit here. So I didn't need to stock up on knit fabrics. However, whenever I hopefully eventually get through these, I will be shopping from there in the future because the price point was, I mean, you can't beat it. $10 a yard for really nice I think this is four-way stretch knit fabric. I mean, you really can't beat it. Next up is from So Many Creations. You know when you're just like staring at something for so long and you browse through it and you're like, oh, I don't need it. And then you browse through it again and you're like, oh, I just really like it. So I had looked at this color cork all weekend and finally I just decided to go for it. These are 2 color corks I don't have and that I cannot get from Fabric Funhouse. So I will be getting these from Jess at So Many Creations from here on out. But so I got lemon cork. So I love like the gold ochre cork that I use all the time, mustard cork, but this is like a nice sunshiny springtime yellow. It's so pretty, but it's still soft. It's not like glaring. It's not a highlighter yellow. It is just a beautiful soft yellow that I really love. And what happened with this, why I only have this teeny tiny piece, is because I did wait so long to make my purchase that this was all that was left. So I got this little tiny guy in lemon, and then I got this roll, and she calls this one evergreen. This one is so pretty. It's like a muted, oh, I don't even know, like a, maybe not muted, it's like a very opaque sage. I love this one so much. It's nice and soft. It's demure. It's mindful. Oh, it matches my hair. How about that? It also looks really nice. Whoops. It looks really nice with this green. They're in the same like hue value, the saturation value, and I just really love it. I think it's going to be super cute, even if you did these with like raspberry. These colors are kind of like, they have a gray wash over them, and I really love that because you get nice pigmented bright colors, but it's not like slapping you in the face. So I really like this. So again, evergreen cork and then lemon cork, both from Jess at Fabric Funhouse, or no, sorry, both from Jess at So Many Creations. Now, her backings are a little bit different than Fabric Funhouse. Some of them, not all of them. They differ depending on what you get. This one, I always call this one like the Band-Aid backing because it looks like a woven Band-Aid to me. And it's not stretchy. It's got the slightest amount of give to it. And it sews up just like any other backing that I've ever used. And then this one on the evergreen is like the standard backing that I get on all my other corks as well. So be sure to check out Jess at So Many Creations because she has a lot of different prints and things that a lot of other companies don't have. Also, if you're in the market for a roll holder, ta-da, I will link those down below as well. Next up in my fabric is from Island Quilter. They are an online fabric shop out of Vashon Island in Washington, which my sister and I actually went to when we were up there. And insider's tip, don't go on Monday or Tuesday because everything's closed. They just kind of, they're on island time up there. And so Caitlin and I took the ferry. We took the girls and took the ferry over on Tuesday. And the only thing open was a sports bar diner situation, which we ate at and it was really good, and then like a pizza place, but everything else had already closed or it wasn't opening for the day, or they didn't open until the evening. So Wednesday through Sunday if you're going to go to Vashon Island. Anyhow, this company, Island Quilter, is from Vashon, and they had a really gorgeous setup. It's in the walkthrough that I showed you a couple minutes ago. But these are the ones that I picked up. I got this beautiful colorway, this Anna Maria Horner cone flower. I have not seen this one before. Now, as I was walking out of the event, I had all of my bags packed and I was leaving. I was heading to my car. It was Sunday evening and I was out of there. And as I was walking by this booth, it caught my eye. And so I started wandering, window shopping, and they saw me window shopping, and the guy was very engaging and he waved me over, and I couldn't help myself and I went over. I was really intrigued by the fabric. So we've all seen laminated cotton, but I hadn't seen laminated cotton with this type of drape, and the prints on them were so pretty. This one is what grabbed my eye. This really pretty plant, monsteras and palms, and there's tiny little chameleons in there, but it's laminated cotton that the lady designs. She designs the cotton and then she gets it laminated for her specifically. So her company's name is Splash Fabrics, and she explained to me that she started as a tablecloth company and she didn't want to use regular oilcloth. It was too stiff. It didn't have a nice drape. You couldn't clean it. You couldn't wash it easily. So she came up with this combo, whatever it is proprietary to her business. And the drape of this is so nice. It's so soft. It's so supple. And it's laminated. So you can use it as a liner. You could use it as wet bags. You could use it as a tablecloth. You can use it as a market bag because it folds down so small. Like, so it condenses really well. So I'm going to work with them. We haven't... They gifted me this yardage to play with and talk to you guys about and share with you. And I'm hoping to partner up with them in some capacity at some point, but it's so fun. So really keep your eye out for some fun demos with this splash fabric. It also says that it's food safe and eco-friendly. And then it says that this fabric is magic, which I would agree. So this gorgeous print. They had this in another colorway as well. I wish I would have snagged that one too. It was like a beige, pink, blue. Gorgeous. And then I also, because I do want to make some market bags, I think like a cork bottom with this on the top market bag, and then it folds up, and then it has like webbing for straps for structure, or not for structure, but for strength whenever it's like full of stuff. That was like immediately where my mind went, and I picked this up. And it's so fun and cute. It's got all these fruits and veggies and mushrooms and papaya and pomegranates and Swiss chard and so many fun veggies. One of my good friends out in Colorado, she is a prolific gardener, farmer, and she provides so much food for Southwest Colorado. And so my first thought whenever I was thinking market bags was I want to get some of this into her hands because I think that this would be so fun to offer to her because this is what she brings to the world. So yes, Splash Fabrics. All of the links for all of this will be down below. So the very last thing that I wanted to show you that I got on my trip is a book. I stopped by the cutest bookstore in Olympia. It's called Browser's Bookstore. I picked up a few things, some note cards and all of that, but I have been hearing about this book. If you're like me, then you listen to podcasts a lot while you're sewing, and I love Armchair Expert. I listen to it a lot. They have a lot of different offerings, that expert celebrities, and then Armchair Anonymous is the funniest show I've ever listened to, and it's where they let people call in. They give prompts, and then you can call in and tell your personal story, and some of those are absolutely wild. Anyways, on the show, the hosts talk about this book called Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. So I picked this book up at Browser's, and I just got started on it. And supposedly, it's like a New Age Lost Boys or New Age David Copperfield. So I'm really happy and excited to get into this book. So anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I appreciate you watching this far. Please let me know what books you're currently reading and what podcasts you listen to. I love learning. So throw all of those at me, please. Be sure to hit like, and you can subscribe by clicking the bell down below. And I will see you back here very soon with some more sewing tutorials. And I've got some fun, random stuff that I've been up to coming down the pipeline as well.